Have you been to Brazil, Mr. Hall?
Yes, I was in Salvador, Bahia, in Rio, and in Sao Paulo. I
I'm
love
from,
Brazil.
yes, I'm from São Paulo. So
Oh, Sao Paulo,
that's
great.
amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well,
Muito obrigada.
yeah, I love caipirinhas.
Yeah, caipirinhas. That's amazing. Oh, that's the best. Okay. Hi, Stephen. Hi, Vondie. I hope I'm
Yeah.
saying correctly your name. Thank you so much for your time.
Bobby.
A pleasure to talk to you. What a movie, Stephen. Very emotional, very like strong, like deep. What was like the main inspiration for that, for the script?
Um, well, my research spanned over the last 12 years leading up to us filming it. So the inspiration came from so many people across the country, so many men and women in the veteran community, in the mental health community, the Gold Star family members, first responders, and then of course, their families and so on. So, but it began in 2011 where my car had broken down just 3 hours north of Los Angeles, and the local tow truck driver who picked me up uh, had revealed on our 3-hour drive into the city that he was a veteran and that he was going, through a lot, and between his marriage, being a father of three, the medications he was on, and then the trauma that he experienced from multiple deployments. And so that was sort of the call to action. My curiosity was piqued, and I felt this sense of responsibility to find out if there was more men and women like him. And that summer, I set out on a nationwide road trip, and I was just wanting to speak to anybody that would sit down and speak with me. And it was a slow burn in the beginning because the attitude was like, oh, these guys from Hollywood, and we were able over the years to build the trust of the community, of the veteran community, and and we're very grateful for that. And then building those relationships over years, and the research never stopped. I worked at the VA Medical Center in Detroit, where I was able to role play with doctors and so on. So all of those stories had loosely inspired what ended up being Sheepdog on screen.
Yeah, that's great. And Vondie, when you read the script, what attracted you to your character and to this story?
Um, uh, the arc of the character, the humanity, uh, the the trials and tribulations that he endured to be standing where he was by the end of the film. I thought it was a great character to portray, and a wonderful homage to um, Vietnam vets.
Yes, and that's like a new Steve and Vondie. You guys have a lot of scenes together, like very emotional. How was like on set, like to develop this trust, you know what I mean? Because you can see that you guys are like building the relationship of both characters throughout the movie. How is it for you, like building that trust with Vondie and Vondie trust with Steve? You can start with you, Steve.
Well, we had rehearsed the night before we shot on Vondie's first day, and I knew that the following day was going to be very special, and I got to see glimpses of what Mr. Hall was going to do on camera, and we were able to refine a bit of work out the kinks in the scene and so on. But the following day, you know, I knew, the whole crew knew, we all knew that something magical and special was happening. And I say that trust is built in a very short period of time. That when you're making a film and you're trying to make it in a short period of time, often days feel like weeks, and you feel like you have this shared history together because you're both on the same frequency as you are with the other cast members in telling the story. And so I felt like, for me, my trust, the build of the character and the build of the relationship between the two characters, especially the scene with no spoiler alerts at the table with Mr. Hall's character, there was so much beauty in that it allowed me, not just as the storyteller, the filmmaker, but as the actor sharing the scene, to just feel a certain way and feel supported and loved, if that makes any sense. And so you see that on camera, and the biggest thing is, I'll speak for myself, is remaining open to that, to what may happen. And sometimes you get the best performances from that experience. And certainly I feel like we got a pretty stunning performance from Mr. Hall. So
For you, Mr. Hall.
Yeah, for me, I think it started with the script and then our rehearsal. And after our rehearsal, I knew that that it was going to be a great journey because I trusted Stephen from that very first rehearsal, with to have the openness and to be so stuck with what's in your head or what you sat down at the computer and wrote, and to be able to change something. Because initially, Stephen was supposed to slam me against the wall when had that altercation outside, and he said, I think it's going to be better if you do this. And when we were in rehearsal, that just manifested in that manner. And so the trust started there, and then just working through the rest of the movie. It was just a fine journey.
Stephen, you wearing like three hats, like you direct, you wrote, you act as well. How was it like for you, like to manage like these three roles on set, like during the shooting, like before shooting, after shooting? How was like that for you?
I was just trying to emulate Mr. Hall's career. I mean, I was just chasing those coattails. I think most writer, director, actors would say, especially in independent filmmaking, it's the economy of making the film. It's just efficiency. I sat in front of the men and women when I did the research. I didn't have to play the part, but I understood the stakes and I understood the nuance of what it would take to play that role, that somebody walking in with 3 weeks might not understand it if they haven't lived some of it. And that speaks to Mr. Hall's experience, even growing up in the Vietnam era, having friends that were drafted, that were sent off, friends that did not come home, friends that did come home, that had post-traumatic stress, friends that today are battling cancer from Agent Orange. Like that stuff, that's all woven into the fabric of who you are. And then, certainly in your performance. But I think that also the writer, I was able to cut things as we were shooting. I was able to be very judicious to know, hey, I think we got that last week, that emotional beat there in that scene. We don't need this. And if I cut that, it buys us time to spend more time on this over here. And then I think as the director, I was able to had the good fortune of having a wonderful cast. And so my job was really just making sure they understood where they were in, when you shoot a movie out of sequence that's not chronological, but just knowing specifically the notes I knew we needed to hit. So you're just like, honestly, there really wasn't time to ever deliberate too much on something. It was all instinctual, and it truly was lightning in a bottle. You're trying to make the best decisions that you can possibly make in the moment that'll service the story and help, tell the truth of what you're trying to collectively share on screen.
Mr. Hall, come back to you. So, like you have friends there with veterans and everything, like your research, your preparation to play this character. What was like the thing or the what you learn about them that help you in your performance?
The pain that they brought back, having been in battle, and what they saw and what they lost in terms of friends or their own losing briefly their own humanity while being at war. And then ultimately them coming home and not being appreciated for doing that. Unlike World War II, where everybody was like, ah, you're heroes. Uh, the Vietnam vets were not viewed as heroes. They were viewed as, jerks who went to fight in a war that was unnecessary, that they didn't win, that we didn't come, it wasn't like you won, you were the victors. Um, and so, being around that, knowing those folks, hearing their stories, myself, being close to so many of my friends who went, and then their struggles coming home, trying to reintegrate into society, with addiction, with post-traumatic stress, with all the problems that they came back with.
Yeah. I know that scene when you guys first, like when Whitney goes to Calvin's house, and then he says, "Your medal is coming through the mail," something like that. Oh my God, it's so like, we are nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like everything that you said here, like there's a lot of like phrases there that was very tough to hear from, even for me. And I don't have a veteran in my family, but I have all the respect for them. And it's very tough for us to hear that too as well. So Steve, I need to ask about Virginia Madsen. What was about her that made you pick her to play this doctor that trying to help Calvin?
Well, I had been a fan of Virginia's work for years, and I had met her 20 years ago on a red carpet where we were each promoting movies at the time at the Critics' Choice Awards, and she was there for Sideways. And I remember telling her there, it'd be great to work together one day. And that speech in Sideways that she gives about, a grape turning into wine and that fermentation process that was so captivating. So that was kind of like that was the seed that was planted. But, Virginia also is a Gold Star family member who has lost a family member that served. And I knew that she would come at it with a level of respect and gravitas, and my job as her director would be to protect that and always make sure to create a safe environment that she could feel like she could express herself, but also as her scene partner to make sure that I gave her what she needed emotionally. And her first full day of filming was that speech to my character about post-traumatic growth, and we were all just as mesmerized as we've heard everybody be on the film festival circuit, that there's a nurturing and maternal quality that she exudes, but also this no nonsense tough love sort of, trying to break through to my character and knowing just how high the stakes are, because it's truly life or death. And so, I was very grateful that she brought those elements to her performance.
Yeah, she's great, and I always admire her performances, and she's great on this one as well. Amazing. And Mr. Hall, how was like the most challenging scene for you to shoot?
I think the altercation scene outside was the most challenging because it was the first day of shooting. It was my first day, and you just don't know how it's going to go. You have to just sort of give yourself up, and see what happens, and hoping that it was going to feel true and not pushed, and am I going to be in the moment? Am I going to? So that was the most difficult one for me.
And for you, Stephen, as a director and as an actor, what was like the most challenging scene to shoot?
I mean, there were a lot, to be completely honest with you. I would say one of the hardest days was being on the other end of Lilli Cooper's speech, because something happened, and everything. There were several moments in the movie working with this incredible cast. Like it happened with Mr. Hall's character, where we talk about it, where everything kind of goes away around you, and it's just you. Like it feels like it's happening for the first time, and it's not make believe, and something transcends. And it happened with Mr. Hall. It happened with several of the cast, and it happened with Lilli, where she delivers that speech. And I remember finishing the day and going back to my hotel room and feeling really damaged about it, and feeling like taking on, because the mind knows that it's make believe, but the body doesn't. And that was that was challenging emotionally. But I would say, there's you always try, like I could tell you that being in those tutus with Matt Dallas on the Halloween scene, we were freezing our buns off. That was challenging. We were just doing it for the kids, but it created the humor where like we were really cold, and it kind of added to the humor in that scene of just how we were willing to go the distance for his daughter, but to what end, but no, we managed to, as a team. Every day I would say was challenging, but you always find the pivot, and you just try to problem solve as best as you can, and you do whatever you can that will be in service of the story.
Yeah, such a great movie, and I hope everybody watch it and be like, I was very got really emotional in some parts, really funny in some parts, the tutu scene and everything. So I love it. So I just want to thank you so much for your time. Muito obrigada. I'm from Brazil, and I know, yes, and I know people love this type of movies over there as well, and here too. And thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure to talk to you both.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have you been to Brazil, Mr. Hall?
Yes, I was in Salvador, Bahia, in Rio, and in Sao Paulo. I love Brazil.
Yes, I'm from São Paulo, so
that was great.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Muito obrigada.
Yeah, I love caipirinhas.
Yeah, caipirinhas. That's amazing. Oh, that's the best. That's the best.
Right?
Yes, we have the best here. In LA, you can find a lot of places that have caipirinha. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
God bless.
If you like to support or continue to support Jana on Camera, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share the videos.